We're in the choir loft, Kristen and I, and to get an idea of what's going to happen with the capital campaign is that a significant portion is the expansion of the choir loft. And many of you haven't been in the choir loft, so you don't know what the problem is to begin with. And if you just look around, the space is limited. And part of that is because of this amazing instrument that we've had for a few years now, this restored Hook and Hastings organ, which took up a significant portion of the choir loft. But the choir loft anyway was not adequate for the amount of singers that we have. So generally speaking, how many singers do we have between the adult parish choir, the schola, the choruses? So how many people could fit in the choir loft on any given, like Christmas Eve or Easter?
Well, Christmas Eve and all the big services, probably we need about 50.
50 singers that we have in the parish. And so that's not counting strings. It's not counting, the other instruments that we bring in. So it gets very, very tight. How many chairs are approximately set up in here right now?
Goodness, I don't even know.
So
15.
15. And this is comfortable for 15, but you get the idea, certainly not for 30, certainly not for 50 or 30 singers and instrumentalists. So what's going to happen with the campaign is we're going to move this out 10 feet. The stairs will stay the same, in the same places. The organ will be in the same place. We're going to have this, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do it, but shrink wrap the organ. We're not moving the organ, and we're certainly not taking it apart. It will stay put, but they're going to put some new steel columns going all the way down to the lower floor to support the extension of 10 feet so that we can have all the people that we need up in the choir loft. And also what's going to happen is, Robert, take a look down at the floor. It's a concrete floor that is just painted. We're going to have tile placed in that will be similar to the tile that's in the on the floor, on the nave of the floor of the nave, and that will again, it has an acoustical effect. It also will look better. The chairs are the kind of chairs we have in Drake Hall. We're going to have new choir chairs, which also help with posture, I would imagine, with singing, the places to put your music and so on and so forth. So when you think about the expansion of the choir loft, what is the single most energizing thing about what is going to happen?
Oh, space for everybody to sit. On Christmas Eve, we don't even have room for all of the children. So it's like they have to sit downstairs and come up and sit on the floor. So that'll be nice to have everybody up here. Also, these chairs are fine, but we have our hymnals, we have our music, we have about probably 6 different pieces of paper that the choir's trying to shuffle. And so on a Sunday morning or any other time, there's paper everywhere. So having a place to put those things, having a place to kneel to pray would be nice.
And one of the things we had this last week was an acoustician to come in to, did I say it correctly? It's a hard word, acoustician. Someone who can read a room based on the sound, and sound is more complicated than the average person might think. And certain things done to a room can help the sound or hurt the sound. Simple things that we have already here, or we have lots of hard surfaces, we don't have carpet, there are no cushions in the pews. All those details help to make the sound bounce and to make it sound better for speaking and singing. What were some of the things that we learned and we may be able to accomplish in this renovation to make the sound, which is already great, but even better?
Exactly. Well, we discovered that the bottom part of the church is all concrete, so it's really hard surface that doesn't absorb a lot of sound, but this top part is more hollow, and so a lot of the sound is deflected and absorbed in that. So if we can make this top part a little more congruent with what the bottom is, then that'll help the sound up here be better. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but like on Sunday mornings when we have readings and you hear with all the pages
turning of pages, yeah.
Part of that is the way the acoustics work. So there are some things that we can do, I don't know the specifics, but to help cut down on that sound and have more of the pitch rather than the high consonants speak.
And one of the things that we're going to do, we've had mechanical engineers with heating and air conditioning companies. So Robert, I don't know if people know, the air conditioning actually is inside the organ. So it comes out on these two grates here, griddles, and we're going to, during this time, we're going to do this so that the choir actually has better cooling up here. Is that correct?
Yeah, right now the air pretty much comes straight out and goes over our heads and goes downstairs, so it's really hot up here on Sunday mornings. So yeah, we talked with the mechanical engineer about possibilities of redirecting that to where the airflow is different and it's directed more
comes down so that the choir isn't burning up. So
nice.
yeah, so expanded 10 feet to accommodate 48 singers. We're going to have even better acoustics by paying attention to the upper level. And Robert, if you want to point, what did they find when we did a little bit of surgery to the wall here? You can see the patch.
Yeah, they found that there's, this space isn't accessible anyway, so we cut a hole there and discovered there's like 12 or 11 or 12 inches space there, that if that could be filled in some with a harder material other than just drywall, that'll help the acoustics up here.
So one of the things we're going to do in this level is have an architectural design, some arches, and on one hand, as being aesthetically pleasing, it's also going to enhance the acoustics potentially.